Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. I hope you're all having a lovely January. I hope that Mr. Kris Kringle, should you choose to celebrate, has been kind to you, been pretty kind to me. For my Christmas, I got enough money to save up and buy an iPad Air. So today, I'm going to be exploring that a little bit. We're going to be drawing a couple of things. I've decided that January is Pet Portrait January. So I've got a couple of pet portraits here for you. I've got some spicy cabbage, so let's sit down, get comfy cozy, and start. Alright, so our first portrait is actually going to be one of my mother-in-law's dog. This is I'm going to say probably about 3 years old, terrier named Prim. She is a very polite little girl. I say she's a terrier. I don't actually know what kind of dog she is. She's kind of a rescue. Mother-in-law took her in. Her old parents, I should say, didn't really have room for a dog at that point in their lives and just kind of wanted Prim to go to a good home. Prim was actually coming into mother-in-law's life hot off the heels of the death of her old dog, Sky. Sky was an old family dog, probably about 13, I think, when she died. I don't know exactly. I'm very bad with remembering things. I'm sure a lot of you can relate, but Sky was a husky who, the first time we met, she growled at me, but we grew on each other. She learned to tolerate my foibles, and I learned to appreciate her not eating me. But you know, the past is the past, and now Prim is a part of our lives, and I could not be happier that she's there. And then the next, of course, is this silly picture that we got off of Pinterest. Lately, I mean, especially with the way that the iPad seems to handle saving and loading pictures, I haven't really been using Pinterest so much. I've mostly been going through old stock photo sites, stuff that I can, actually use, that I can purchase a license for. You can't really do that off of Pinterest. It's a great resource or it was a great resource. If you're on it nowadays, more often than not, you'll find ads and AI pictures. So not so much a deal now, but when I started using it about 4 or 5 years ago, it was a really good site for just finding stuff to practice on, like poses and portraits and stuff like that, things that you'd really want to copy. Today we've got this silly picture of a cat making a face. And for this one, I wanted to try a little bit more painterly thing. The last one was really like line art and a little bit of splotches of color. This one is more just straight up painting, which, I appreciate. That's generally how I work with mediums is in a painterly way. Not classically trained. I think that implies that I was trained at all, but it goes well for me. And I think you'll find that this one came together really quickly. I don't think it took me more than 3 or 4 hours to do it. I don't know. I think that's fast. That certainly seems fast nowadays. I usually, on the iPad, I've generally been working to about 8 to 10 hours per painting for a fully rendered piece. So this one I did on New Year's Eve, I believe, and just kind of busted it out, waiting for the clock to turn to midnight so I could actually go and sleep. And then that happened and I slept and it was lovely and we got this out of it. So this is it's a great time. And now we've got my darling brand new baby boy, my 10-year-old grandchild, Tigger. So called Tigger because of the curly Q tail that he has. Probably a birth defect. It doesn't really look like it was an injury. He can still move it. It doesn't seem to cause him any pain. Luckily, he's got enough of that going on right now, though. Rosie doesn't like him very much. Last time I talked about him, I believe he was just moved into the house, but he's... Oh, hi, Rosie. So he's past his 90-day clearance, so he's good to go. Please don't step on the keyboard, my darling. Sorry, Rosie's here, paying me some attention. And, while I love her very much, it is perhaps not the best time. So just, you can stick your butt in the air, that's fine. Oh, please don't. Please. The little bastard cut off my recording. I kept going for another minute and a half before I noticed, and she's a very naughty girl. So anyway, he passed his 90-day check. He was at risk for feline FIV, FELV, something like that, which takes about 3 months to manifest if it's from date of contamination. So He's good to go. They've been mingling a little bit. We've been taking that pretty slow. She's not happy about it. We've gotten her to where she'll tolerate him about 60% of the time, but he makes any sudden moves and she'll start swinging. I think it's about time that we start letting that play out though, instead of breaking it up. So yeah, it's been going good. She's just being a little butt about it. But Tigger though. Tigger has never raised a paw to Rosie. He's never growled at Rosie. He's hissed a little bit, but you know, when some jerk just keeps getting up in your face, it's very easy to do that. Sorry about that, I just have some notes. So he is about 10 years old, near as we can figure. It's about the right age for when his owner, which was my wife's grandmother, would have gotten him. And I believe I've told the story about how he basically vanished off the face of the earth, and we found him about 8 years after she died. But yeah, he is so sweet. He is the most loving little boy that I have ever met. He is dumb as a stump. Rosie, what? Hi. Yeah, you just don't like me talking about him, do you? She's jealous. She's so jealous. She's trying so hard to be cute. It is working. She is very cute. She's my little baby. Yeah, she's good. She's an asshole, but she's good. Tigger though, 10 out of 10. No notes. Let's go to the next one. Oh, and finally, we've got to the last piece of this video. This one I have been kind of calling Rosie at Rest. It's a painting that I have made of quite a dear moment in my life, where Rosie is actually using the f***ing furniture that I've gotten for her instead of just ignoring it and letting it collect dust. So it's very near and dear to me. Now this tower that I'm drawing here actually sits right now. Tigger's been isolated into his own little room. I say a little room. It is a living room. Like it's a whole ass like public space for guests and stuff. It just happens to also have a cat that isn't allowed to leave and doesn't have unfettered access to the rest of the house. He does get playtime. He does get food time. He does get, obviously I give him water, you know, like come on guys. But just Rosie is such a dink to him. She just doesn't want to leave him alone. And it's taken nearly a month and a half to get her to the point where she's decided that maybe she doesn't have to attack him all the time. You know, she'd like to keep her options open, but you know, maybe if she just like, you know, I don't know, takes a couple of nose hairs or something, and you know, maybe a toenail, that would be fine too, and she can add that to her collection, and that would be fine. But yeah, Rosie was a rescue too, so I guess she, on some level, she does relate to what Tigger's going through, even if she doesn't actually realize it. We got her about 5 years ago. She's about 5.5 years now, so she is the younger of the two, so it does kind of make sense that the spoiled brat would be the one causing all the trouble, but you know, you kind of hope that your kids grow up and learn better, you know? Very disappointed. But despite what Rosie would like you to believe, not everything is about her. So let's just take a couple of minutes and talk about the paintings that I've done here. So each one I've tried to do in like a slightly different way. The first one was just kind of testing, kind of playing a little bit more like, I don't know, pencil crayons or like actual like Crayola crayons. The second one was more painterly, like blotches of color being thrown around. The third one was a little bit more digital style, mixed with some pencil crayon. It's very hard to get away from how I've always done it, which is less so in a digital style. Rather, it's more media focused, where basically I'll pick a brush and I will just get going until I encounter a problem that isn't solved by that brush, and then I'll pick something else. And so I end up using a very limited number of brushes and a very limited number of layers. It's usually one layer for the under regular painting, and then a layer for each different subject in the painting, and then one for backgrounds. Maybe 2 or 3 for backgrounds, but that's about it. I usually end up using maybe up to 10 layers. I don't think that that's very much, considering I've seen some of y'all's layer selections, which is good because I did buy an iPad Air. It's not quite as powerful as the iPad Pro. It's only got an M2 in there, so it can support a pretty decent amount of layers. But if you're looking to print something off, the layer amount cuts down pretty drastically. I think the largest size that I'm comfortable drawing in for printing is about an 18 by 24 printing, and for that I can have about 22 layers. So if you're much more of a digital style of painter, lots of layers, lots of brushes, lots of effects, I would probably lean more towards the iPad Pro than the iPad Air. If you're coming at it from a classical media perspective, the iPad Air is going to be just fine. You're not really going to need more than that if you're not doing more than 10 or 15 layers. So my final word on this, for whatever authority I might have, I absolutely adore my iPad for painting. Procreate is awesome. It's simple, it's intuitive, it's very powerful considering I spent like $20 on it. It does everything that I need it to. I haven't come across a problem that I couldn't solve in Procreate that needed to be solved in Krita or Photoshop or anything like that. So I haven't really been missing my computer desk too much. Plus, I haven't been missing my computer desk too much. I can take it anywhere. I can work on pieces at work. I can work on pieces in bed, on the couch. It's just, the whole world is my oyster. And isn't that just fantastic? But that's going to be about it for me. So I'm going to leave you here, and I hope you all have a great day, and I'll see you next time.